Hello, everyone. It's Diana here. I'm gonna just tell you about why it is that I started this YouTube series and why I guess I know that I'm an authority on the whole weight thing. So, give you a little bit of my history and tell you where I'm coming from. Oh, by the way, I've got like notes up here in front of me because I have a tendency of going off on tangents. And so to keep this from turning into like 2 hours long, I have to keep notes and like go by those. So you'll see me continuing to look up and kind of like scrolling on my notes. It saves us a lot of time. Okay, thank you for your patience. All right, so I'm Diana. I have spent more than 20 years working in the food service industry. And I'm working with like all sorts of like high calorie, delicious foods readily available to me all the time. I worked as a server, as a cook, manager. I even worked as a district manager of a locally owned food chain for 8 years. I got into the industry because I have an absolute love for food. I love food. And of course, like most Americans, I love the junk. I do. Like, who doesn't? I don't care how good you eat. You gotta love the junk. And I was cooking meals for my family as I was raising them. I was an at-home mom for 5 years. And now, for as much as I love food, I don't love to be in the kitchen. I mean, I might enjoy cooking once in a while, but it's just not my forte. So a lot of the meals that I made for my family and they were like really quick and easy. So make no mistake about it, I absolutely did use a fair amount of canned, box, frozen, and takeout. Oh, yes, I did. But through it all, like having all sorts of food readily available to me all the time, for 20 years, I've maintained a healthy weight. I don't know if you can see, but I'll stand up. In a healthy body, I mean, it's not just my weight, it's my body. But yeah, so you didn't see a whole lot, so I'll just do this. There we go. There's Diana. Okay. And I'm really super proud that I've maintained a healthy weight for over 20 years and a good healthy body. And I'll tell you, I've been told by a number of medical professionals that I am one of the healthiest middle-aged women that they've ever seen. And this really, really excites me, right? Because I'm about to be 50 in just a couple of months. And, like taking a look at the condition of our country today, like I remember when obesity was not an epidemic. Being overweight was not an epidemic. There were some people that were overweight, but the majority of America was a healthy weight. And then today, it's really sad, almost 3/4 of the country is above the weight that they should be at, a healthy weight. And almost 40% today are obese. And but I'll tell you, this healthy body and this healthy weight for me, this has not always been my life. It wasn't. I haven't always been healthy. Oh my Lord, I was so unhealthy, and I haven't always had a healthy weight. There was a time in my life where I could barely make it up a single flight of stairs. Like I would struggle. So I would climb those stairs higher and higher. I would just move slower and slower and breathe heavier and heavier with every step. And when I finally got to the top of those stairs, I would be like wet with perspiration, and I would be sucking wind so hard, and my heart would be pounding. I remember I thought it would like burst out of my chest. I was so sure that within 10 years I was going to have a deadly heart attack. And I was only 25. And 25 years old, I knew I'd be dead before 30 because of my weight. So I was always in fear that I would never be able to catch my breath, that my heart would burst out of my chest. Just the thought of that had me in such fear that it would affect my breathing, just thinking about it. So I could barely pick up my baby. I had a baby at the time. She was 1. I could barely pick her up. Just to be able to pick her up from the floor, that was a real struggle, having to bend down all, all the way down like that, bending over the crib to pull her out. This was work. Everything was work. Simple, basic housework. That it was like an extreme workout for me. And when I say simple, basic housework, I'm talking about like vacuuming the floor, sweeping the kitchen. This is a simple, basic thing. And oh God, help me if I had to move the furniture to clean under it. So I really struggled, and I was big. And at 25, by the time I was 26, I tipped the scale to obese, and I was pretty mortified. I couldn't believe it. Remember, this was in a time when obesity was not a big thing like it is today. Like today, 1/3 of America is obese, and so many people just don't think much about it. Back then, it was a different world. There was only about 7% of America was obese then, so it was very rare. And so I was really mortified when I became obese. So I was married to a man at the time. He would do anything for me. But even though I was married to a man that would do anything for me, I was really just so lonely. I was scared. I was depressed. And I was just plain miserable. My existence sucked. I was broken. I knew that there was just no way I could live another 10 years like that. I knew it wasn't going to happen, let alone 20. I didn't think I'd be able to watch my kids grow up. So through all of this stuff, don't think I wasn't doing anything about it, right? Because I was mortified. So I was trying any weight loss, anything that I could find on the market, like anything new that came out, I was on it. I was just on it. I was so desperate. I was willing to do anything. I was willing to give up just about everything in my life, barring my family, just to be able to get some of that ugly weight off, and just to be able to move and breathe at the same time. So I could have a normal life, so I could be a normal mother to my children. This is like all these different weight loss products and diets and, miracle skinny pills and weight loss workouts. And this was like trying to get through a maze, and they had no end. There was no end. I tried so many diets, weight loss things, workout programs, and magical skinny pills. Oh my gosh, those magical skinny pills, right? And I worked everything. I lived them. I made them my everything. Every time I would try something new, made it my everything. They were always at the forefront. I would become completely obsessed with them. I struggled. I was constantly looking for something that would help me take just some of the pounds off, just something. Whenever I would find a new diet or a weight program or a pill, I would get it and I would work it to the T. I would do exactly what it said to do, and then I would get on my scale like a month later, and it laughed at me, right? No change. All that hard work, all that starving yourself, deprivation, knocking yourself out, and no change. And still I couldn't breathe. And I knew this was because of my weight. I knew this was because I was obese. So as hard as I worked these programs, there's no change, right? And in some cases, oh my gosh, not only did I not lose the weight, I would gain. There was like 3 different programs that I got on and I gained weight. And no, we're not talking about muscle tissue. I didn't gain muscle tissue. It was body fat. So as you can imagine, I was just like really discouraged and distraught after endless amounts of diets and weight loss programs and miracle skinny pills. I can't even begin to tell you how much money I spent on those things. And obsessing with food. I was always obsessed with food, how it was going to make me fatter. and exercising, starving myself, pushing myself to the point to where I would literally drop on the floor. I would work out till I would literally drop on the floor because I couldn't breathe. My heart was ready to give out. And I didn't get anywhere. Now, I know a lot of you people, you try, different weight loss programs and everything. And for a lot of people, they'll lose some weight and they think that's great. That's wonderful. And of course you would think so. But then at some point they gain it back, right? I never had that. I didn't have that lose the weight and then gain it back. But I could just imagine like how extremely discouraging that would be. Me, I never lost anything. Like I said, in fact, sometimes I gained. And I know how discouraging that was. Like, and I'm thinking like, but all these programs have, all of these testimonies from all of these people that it worked for. Why is it not working for me? Why? I mean, something had to work for me, right? So I finally said to myself, I got to stop this craziness. The whole thing was just driving me nuts. I got to where I was just so obsessed with trying to lose weight, everything I was doing. My heart pounded every time I tried to do anything, and I still had a hard time picking up my children. So I just had to stop the craziness. I had to just start focusing on the life around me that I was missing out on. But I couldn't understand why these things seemed to work for other people, and they didn't work for me, not one of them. So when I was looking at it in this light, I decided, well, it doesn't work for me because I'm fat and I'm just going to be fat forever. I'm always going to have a weight problem, and it was painful to accept that. It was really painful to accept that. Being so young, like at this point I'm 26 and I'm accepting that I'm just going to be obese for the rest of my life. But I had to stop what I was doing, driving myself crazy, driving my family crazy, my poor family. So this is when I stopped the craziness. I stopped the diets. I stopped the weight loss programs, the painful workouts. I stopped starving myself. I stopped wasting my money on miracle skinny pills. And I stopped being afraid of food. I stopped being afraid of food. It's like, nothing's going to happen anyway. I'm just going to stay fat. But in that moment when I decided to stop the craziness, I made another decision. And that decision was to make my body healthy. I thought, well, maybe I am fat. Maybe I'm going to be fat and obese for the rest of my life. But damn it, I'm going to be able to make it to the top of my stairs. I'm going to be able to play with my kids on the playground. And so I was not going to accept a disabled life while I was still so young and my kids were still so small. So this is when I started looking into what personal power that I had in controlling my health. What could I do to make myself healthier, to strengthen my organs and my body, to increase the strength of my heart to be able to handle the weight that I was carrying, to increase the strength of my lungs so that I could breathe even while I was doing something, and to just better all my organs, right? Make sure my organs are working properly because I wanted to watch my kids grow up, fat or not. So what I started learning and discovering was just really mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing. I just couldn't even believe it. Oh my gosh, I thought how simple it was, how easy it was. It was so simple. And so I started doing some of the things that I was learning. And this was a time before the internet. Yes, I'm old. So this is a time before the internet, and so you really had to go out and search for information. It wasn't really easy to get to. And so I wasn't learning things really very fast. Although I was out a lot, I wasn't learning things very fast. So, but when I would learn something, I would apply it. And so, I learned this one new thing. I applied it, and now remember, I lost hope for losing weight. I noticed that my clothes were getting a little bit looser. Well, wait a minute. Your clothes aren't getting looser, Diana, because your clothes aren't getting bigger. And so I stepped on the scale, kicks and giggles. And I was down 10 pounds. I lost 10 pounds. I made one change, and I was down 10 pounds. I wasn't even trying to lose weight. I gave up on that. I was just trying to strengthen my body. I was trying to, at this point, strengthen my heart. 10 pounds. So I was curious. Now I know that the 10 pounds doesn't seem like much at all to a lot of people, but for somebody who fought and struggled and worked and obsessed for a few years and tried everything that was known at that time, didn't lose a single ounce, and in some cases gained, 10 pounds was huge, and I didn't even try. And this is crazy because now I'm doing something I'm not even thinking about my weight anymore, and I'm losing it. How is this? So it's kind of crazy. So then I learned it's, another thing to do for, strengthening my heart, because that was really what I was focused on, was my heart. So I made that other simple change, and a month later I was down another 5 pounds. I made one change a month. One. All these miracle skinny pills never did anything. All the money I spent on them did nothing, not an ounce. And now here I am, I'm not even trying to lose weight, and it's falling off me effortlessly. Granted, it wasn't coming off me fast, but it was finally coming off for the first time. So this had me really, really curious, how is this? How is it that these things that are designed to help you to lose weight worked for so many people, supposedly, but they didn't work for me? And then this other thing that I'm doing over here that doesn't promise any weight loss at all, and I'm losing weight. What's going on here? I was really very curious about that. And I'm just, that kind of a person, I don't know, mathematical thinker. These numbers aren't adding up right. So I had to look into this. So, it actually, I had to take a look at why all of the products and diets and services and things that I did failed. This was a point in which I realized I didn't fail anything. I never failed a single diet. I didn't fail a workout program. I didn't fail anything. They failed me because I clearly could lose weight. I was doing it. Not trying, and the weight was coming off. So clearly my body was able to lose weight, and none of these programs worked. None of these diets, none of these skinny pills worked for me. That's when I realized that they failed me. I didn't fail anything, especially when you're working something to the T, and so many of you are, and it's not working. It's not you failing. How could you be failing when you're doing what the program says you're supposed to be doing? It's the program failing you. And I have yet to find a person fail a program, even when you cheat. That's not failing a program. I've yet to find a person fail a program, but I've found every program that I've looked into, and I'm not going to say I looked into all of them, but every program, every diet that so far I have looked into and studied and researched, they all fail. They all fail you. So that's important for you to know. So these things, they failed me, and I look into this. Now, by the time that a year was done, I'm working on strengthening my heart, strengthening my lungs, and then my liver, my kidneys, learning how to take care of these organs through my own personal efforts. By the time a year had passed, I was a little over half my size at that point. From when I started making a healthy body, when I gave up losing weight and started working on making a healthy body, 1 year later, I was only a little over half my size. I still had a little more to go, But I wasn't working on the weight because I just knew once I decide I'm going to work on the weight, I'll probably gain it. I was afraid. Oh, no more weight loss, anything for me, ever. Ever. So a little over a year, I want to say maybe like somewhere between 15, 18 months later, I was wearing single digit clothes. Single digit clothes. Me. And that's not all. I was, not only was I able to go up a flight of stairs, but I was able to do it with my 20-pound toddler in my arms. I didn't have to stop to take a break when I got to the top. My heart wasn't pounding. I wasn't out of breath. I was actually able to go up. I walked up, at one point I had an appointment, and I walked up 5 flights of stairs, and I was fine. And I was so excited. I was so stoked. There was no way I ever could have done that before. So, and to me, this was like such a short period of time, such a really short period. And it didn't come off fast. Like I said, it didn't come off fast, but it did come off. And now, a year and a half later, such a short period of time, I found myself in a body that allowed me to have a normal life and to be a normal mother. I had a normal body. So, and it was exciting. And I don't forget the struggle that I had to get there. So I certainly can relate to so many of you. And that was 20 years ago. Because I'm almost 50 now. So that was, a little over 20 years, right? So, I was about 27, 28, I think, by the time all this was all done. And I haven't been in double-digit clothes since then. And like I said earlier, I'll never do another diet again. Never. Never. I'll never try another miracle skinny pill. I will never, work out until I kill myself. Never. Never. Because that's not the way it's done. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't gained weight ever through these last 20 years. I am saying I've never been into double digits in 20 years. But certainly I've gained weight, right? I mean, things happen. Like, life happens. We go through major stressors. We go through major losses, major gains, hormonal changes. Like I just said, I'm about to be 50 in a couple of months. You better believe it's happened twice so far where my hormones have changed and my metabolism changed from that. Plus, when we get older, our muscles metabolize less. It's just the facts of life. And so it's happened where I gain weight, but the scale is my best friend. I'm on the scale every single day. And I love it because when it goes up, I'm going to notice, and I usually catch within 10 pounds. Okay, I'm up 10 pounds, and then I go, okay, something is going on here that is affecting my body that I need to regulate and get straightened out. And I do it just like I did the first time. It's a step-by-step process. I've work to figure out like what part is, what's going on. It could be major stress. Major stress is huge, huge, huge for weight gain. So maybe I can go through a stressful period like when my marriage split up. Okay, and you can gain weight from that, from stress. And then I step back and look and go, oh, yeah, I'm going through an awful lot of stress here. Clearly, I'm not processing this stress properly, or I wouldn't be gaining the weight. And so then I would work to handle the stress in a more healthy way, and I would make maybe an adjustment or two in my eating because I know that this hormone is out of whack. So since this hormone is out of whack, I have to give my body more of something in order to get that straightened out again. And then I'd catch it and get it right back in control. And then, then I'm like gaining weight. It was really very slow. It's the whole hormonal thing. So I'm gaining weight, and I noticed it took about a year and a half, and I put on 15 pounds. But I was up a couple of sizes, right? And then I was like, whoa, what's going on? Because I wasn't under any stress, taking a look at the whole thing. And then, I had to like get real with myself and admit my age and say, well, maybe it's the hormones, right? So I made the adjustments that I needed to make then, knowing that, or assuming that this is my hormones. And so I increased what I needed to increase to stabilize my body's health in light of these changing hormones. And so that's how it is that I've been able to maintain for 20 years. It's not that I haven't ever gained weight, but I never seen double digits. And I never seen double digits in all these 20 years because I have the tools to keep myself where I'm at. And I don't starve myself. Oh my Lord, food is my favorite. Like I said earlier, I spent 20 years in the food service industry with all sorts of high calorie, delicious foods readily available to me. And don't think that I did not take part in that stuff. Oh yes, I did. But I know it's about giving your body what it needs. It's not about starving your body, because that's the problem. We have this huge weight problem, this huge obesity problem, because America is starving. We're starving our bodies. Sure, we're eating more than we ever did before, but we're taking in less nutrients than we ever did before. And this whole teaching you just cut your calories down, this is craziness, because this is putting your body deeper into a diseased state. It's not making you any healthier. You're already starving. That's why you're overweight. And then you're told to cut what you're eating in half. And now you're starving yourself further. Sure, initially you might lose some weight. For some of us, we didn't. Initially, you might lose some weight. But in the long run, you're going to get that back. And chances are you're going to gain back more than what you lost. So I'm so against weights, or diets, rather. I'm so against diets. And I'm also against focusing on weights. But unfortunately, for what I do, I have to use weight and weight loss and that kind of terminology to kind of like to get people in. But once I get you in to my program, you're going to stop thinking about your weight. You're going to stop thinking about weight loss. And you're going to start focusing on a healthy body. And when you do that, things just change. It just changes. And it's like, because we end up getting what we think about. So if we're thinking about weight, we're going to have weight. Don't think about weight. Don't. Think about a healthy body. Think about, look into what it takes to make a healthy body. And whatever you do, oh my gosh, do not deprive yourself. Because that's just going to force you to binge. And then you're going to binge, and then you're going to feel like a failure. And there's going to be other self-defeating thoughts going on. And it's a vicious cycle. So don't cut out. Add. What is it going to do to, what is it going to take to like help your digestive system? What nutrients do you need to add to your diet? Add those. Don't take out what you're eating. You're getting little enough nutrition as it is. Don't stop that. Just add in these other nutritious things. And this is one of the things this is what I did. Like, one of the reasons why I know that weight loss programs and diets fail you is because they have you cut out foods that are highly nutritious. I've seen diets tell you to not eat foods that will speed up your metabolism and burn more fat and burn it faster. Does this even make sense? To me, I feel like these things were designed specifically to fail you. They were designed so that you can lose a few pounds in the beginning and then get it all back on. Because when that happens, right? You gain it all back, and you're like, oh, I must have done something wrong. And you find all these little cheats that you did. You blame it on yourself. And then you go back and you buy that product again. Whether it's a pill, whether it's their cookbook, whatever. You buy into that diet program again. Well, if it worked in the first place, you wouldn't have gained that weight back. Right? Something that works for your weight is going to work for the rest of your life. Think about that. So if you've done a diet and you've lost weight and then you've gained some back, that diet didn't work. Get rid of it. Find something else and stop thinking about losing weight. Start thinking about making a healthy body. Think about your organs. What organs are not functioning optimally inside your body? I can tell you right now, if you're overweight, your digestive system isn't working properly. No, it's not. Your kidneys are not working properly. No, they're not. Not if you're overweight. Your liver is not working properly. These things are working in overtime, your kidneys and your liver. Your digestive system isn't working right, because if your digestive system was working right, what the digestive system is supposed to do is it's supposed to pull the nutrients out of your food, whatever food you're eating, pulls out the nutrients and flushes the rest of it out of your body. That's the way it's supposed to be done. So if your organs were working right, you would not be overweight. So stop thinking about the weight. Start working on fixing your organs. And that's how I did it. I started working on fixing my organs, one organ at a time. The one that was most important to me at that point was my heart, because I was sure I was going to have a heart attack. And I didn't. Yay. And here I am 20 years later, and I've been working with people for years and helping people for years transform their bodies and transform their lives. And it's amazing.